Casa Blaze one up. 5 to the nation. Party non-stop
One of
like
the
we always
greatest
on vacation cause we get
advocates for the legalization.
I think you are, man.
Ever
You
was.
Yeah, I mean, you've been coming out to our classes, even educating people with us since 2014.
Yeah, but the
So
but the real people I'm educating are outside the cannabis community, and I'm carrying the message.
well, you realize that all of my people were outside the cannabis community before, and now you start seeing them in like MITA and stuff like that. You know, all the people who told me to fuck off because I didn't get them a job in the, industry are now working in the industry. You know, all those people.
They all got jobs.
I know,
Eventually.
dude.
You just gotta stay with it.
That's the funny thing, you know. Yeah,
Well-
you see them every day, and they all came from. A lot of them came from our classes. A lot of them came from working with us to sell their classes.
I wonder if there's any way to track how many Herbal Risings graduates have jobs.
We used to, but you know, the thing is, we don't hear from people who got jobs. We hear from people who didn't.
Yeah.
You know, those are the ones who are laying on the couch who have time to contact us. But the ones who are actually working in the industry, I just walk into a dispensary right here. Thanks for my job, and I turn around. It's one of our students. You know, that's one of the coolest things.
Well, let's get back to your Herbal Rising stuff because I love what you're doing there.
Yeah, I think we're live now.
But you ever notice God's gift of the orange?
We are live with Demitri. I almost said Demitri Martin April. They're live with Demitri Downing of MITA, former prosecuting attorney of Arizona, all sorts of stuff. Arizona native. He hasn't moved out of here, but he visits a lot of places.
I visit a lot of places.
Yeah, you visit a lot of
Been
places.
around.
But you stay here, huh?
I'm off the mountaintop coming down to talk to you.
Awesome, man. I really appreciate you making the time and making the trip, coming out here. You were supposed to be my first guest, man. I've been trying to get you. So when Michael came out and did the first podcast, I showed you our stats. I'm like, you got to come out. And everybody since then has came out but you, man. So I really appreciate you finally giving in.
No worries. A lot of stories to tell. I'm in the
Yeah.
mood to talk some truth. And you brought up Michael right off the bat. That's an emotional subject. But let's talk about something positive first, you know? Let's talk about you.
Whatever you want, man. Yeah, nobody ever talks about me. I always talk about somebody else when they're on the show.
You know.
I think you're afraid to talk about you is what the problem is.
No, I'll talk about me. People get tired of me. You know, I'm like Kush from Jerry Maguire.
You're out there all the time, huh?
Dimitri. I'm tired of it.
Show me the money, huh?
But you know, I mean, you've been getting people jobs in this industry. You know, that's actually a parallel and a bond that you and I have.
Yeah.
You know my history in this industry since 2012. Jumped around, did projects, cultivations, retail, worked in legislative, lobbying, regulatory stuff. But what I really loved was the conferences and the education and the sharing of knowledge, you know, because it's very rare in life that you kind of wake up over a period of time and you realize that the messaging that the government has given you
Yeah.
is just 100% upside down.
Well, yeah.
Or not necessarily upside down, but it's lacking a true understanding of what is true.
Speaking of cannabis.
Speaking of cannabis, yeah. So, you know, the educating aspect of it, educating individuals about the industry, about career opportunities, about the science, about the medicine, about prohibition, about how it doesn't work, about all that stuff.
Right.
We both do that.
Yeah.
We both do a lot of that. And I've been doing that since 2014, 15 with Michael. And that's been my favorite part of this whole journey. It's one of the reasons why I started MITA. And, you know, it's been good. And Herbal Risings, your project.
Yeah, man.
How many students did you see over all those years?
A couple thousand. You know, we definitely saw we saw at least 30 a week for 2 full years, live classes, and then we saw the events, and then we had online classes on top of that.
Want some orange?
No, thank you, brother.
Sure.
Yeah, do you want to tote?
No.
Well, then
okay.
we'll keep it to ourselves, won't we?
Okay. As you get high, I'm going to freak you out with my perspective on oranges.
Well, you know, orange is great. Vitamin C is a great enhancer to cannabis. There's a lot of terpenes. The limiting terpene in oranges helps enhance the THC. It actually opens up your cannabinoid system to receive more THC as you eat the orange.
Every time
So-
I take a bite of an orange, I never stop. I always look closely at it and see all those little cells in there.
Yeah, that's crazy, huh?
All that love that God gave us.
You ever peel the skin off and actually look at them like individually as they pop open, like little? They pop out like little individual pieces. They have their own little individual lives.
That sounds like Silence of the Lamb stuff. I don't know. I haven't done that yet.
I dissected food quite a few times, like individually. Check it out. I got a freeze dryer coming. I ordered one. I'm really curious about what that's going to do to.
How big is it?
It's a medium size. I got it from Harvest Right. It's a big one.
Can you freeze dry like a turkey?
10 pounds at a time.
Oh, 10 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, you can cut up that turkey and freeze dry it for sure. But have you ever had freeze dried meat?
Mm-hmm.
I have not. Have you like rehydrated it, or did you just eat it freeze dried?
No, people have fed it to me, and it's been fine.
Yeah, is it pretty flavorful?
I'm not familiar with the process, but that wasn't the problem. It was like a moose or something.
Oh, really? Freeze dried moose, huh?
Or a deer. I think it was a deer.
It's supposed to last 20-something years, freeze drying. So I'm curious how it's going to happen, especially with the apocalypse coming and everything. Fucking Yosemite's got 12 earthquakes in the last 24 hours.
The apocalypse is coming.
Yeah, I mean, there's coming in different ways too. It's not just one.
And your listeners should know that, people think I'm a little odd. They think my perspective, because it is all over the place, my open-mindedness, my right, left, up, down, black, white, gray, I tend to philosophize, and I'm not afraid of anything. And I'm not afraid of talking about anything. So I tend to share ideas and thoughts and emotions that other people aren't willing to. People think that I'm high or something. People think that I'm like on acid.
Yeah.
Or people think that I'm like, hallucinating or something. And I get that, I used to get a lot of heroin addicts when I used to employ some who would always ask me, do you do heroin? Have you done heroin? You know about heroin. You seem like you know about heroin. Are you staring at the sun too? I'm like, no, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
But it's not, man. I'm just, and I credit the cannabis industry and the cannabis movement as one of those many things that happened over the years, is it brought me to an awareness of my own substance abuse with alcohol.
Uh-huh.
And it was a fun drunk, and I wasn't start fights, but I drink socially a lot.
Yeah.
lot.
So you're not drinking anymore?
I barely drink ever. It's been like since January 2016. I can count the number of nights I've drank since January 2016. It's almost 4 years now, 17, 18, 19, 20.
The only time I drink is at MITA.
Yeah,
so
me too. So yeah, it's once a month.
Yeah.
So it's like 4 years of total sobriety.
Wow.
And a lot of yoga.
Yeah.
And yoga, this orange right now, it's tasty. But if this orange did yoga before I ate it, it would be doubly tasty. That's the kind of shit.
I always make him take a shower after.
Oh yeah, no,
it's better. It's better to go straight for yoga too. Eating the.
I push it to its limits.
Yeah.
And what I find bursting out of each cell out of my body is just awareness, rigidity, fluidity at the same time.
Yeah.
Truth, knowledge. It's just magical.
You're doing hot yoga, right?
Yeah, hot yoga.
What's the room temperature in there?
104 degrees today.
104, huh?
Yeah, I just left.
Wow. Oh, just recently, just tonight, huh?
Yeah, that's why.
So this orange is the replenishment of the yoga, huh?
Usually I actually take some vitamins before I go to yoga, but that's not important.
So what is this hot yoga session like? What kind of poses are you? Is it like, are you hitting like 12 poses? Are you hitting 2 poses? Like, what do you?
I think there's like 16 poses that we go through. Maybe it's 22. I really don't.
Wow.
I've never really counted.
So there's a lot of changes.
Yeah. You go to your child's pose, and you go to your warrior's pose, and you go to your pigeon pose, and your different poses. And they have names, but it's all about, the extension and the movement of the body and taking it to places that it usually doesn't go, releasing things that usually aren't released. The heat adds a little bit of intensity that you get when you're an athlete. And, you get on the soccer field, you're warming up. After like 15, 20 minutes, you start to sweat. After like 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, you get that salt on your eyes. And then you're like all in. Yeah. And then you're like in cruise control. So the hot yoga does is it gets you all in like 3 minutes.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so 3 minutes, you're sweating, and you're already willing to spit on yourself. People don't really even notice this kind of stuff.
When you spit on yourself?
Or just spit here, or your nose drooling over here. but you're all in.
Yeah.
So you're all into this exercise thing and stretching and in 3 minutes. You got the 104 degrees. Got the humidity coming into the room, so you're wet on top of that, and you're almost naked. A lot of people in there are like close to naked. I wear my little dolphin shorts.
Wow.
Yeah, and
what's the dude to chick ratio in this room?
surprisingly, it's about 50-50.
Okay.
When I first started doing yoga back in 2016, I searched high and low every day. I was doing yoga. Started in Hawaii in early January 2016. While we were there applying for dispensary licenses in Hawaii.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was a total failure, but that wasn't necessarily it was my fault. I'll take responsibility.
Sure.
It's all my fault. January 2016, discovered yoga out there. Came back here to Phoenix. Went to like 60 different yoga studios in like 38 days. Doing 2 a day.
Wow.
I just found something, and when you find something that you love that much, I'm usually not that much of a anal retentive. I like my routine. Everybody has their thing, but I was really bought and sold. Then I found this hot yoga flow. This little Indian dude named Sumit, who studied under the one guy who was like quote unquote Bikram guy. Okay. The quote unquote perverted one.
Oh, okay.
So Sumit studied under him, and
how half naked anyways? How any yoga is not perverted? Like what?
That was my point. When I started yoga in Hawaii, it was because I had nothing else to do. And I knew I needed a change. January 2nd, 2016. And I went down to a bar, and I was there at the bar in Kona, and I was talking to the bartender. There's this guy next to me. He was to my left. You were the bartender. I said, "Where is everybody? What's there to do around here?" And he's like, "Well, what are you looking for?" I was like, "Where are the girls?" He's like, "They're in the yoga studios." I'm like, "There's yoga?" And he's like, "Dude, Kona's the yoga capital of the world."
Okay.
And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, there's girls in all the studios. You should go." And then the guy next to me was like, "Yeah, we should go," because there was nobody else in the bar except for some guy playing U2 songs on an acoustic guitar. It was pretty cool, by the way. And so him and I were like, let's go. So the next day at 11:15, we picked a yoga studio that was pretty popular. Just you Google it, they're all over the place.
Wow. Okay.
And we went there, and I laid down, and I was like, okay, again, I was willing to try new things because my mindset had changed. The cannabis industry had changed me. The cannabis movement has changed me.
All right.
Getting free of Nancy Reagan's just say no.
Yeah.
The devil's weed is going to get you perspective changed me. And I understood it as a healing plant, a medicinal plant, because guys like Michael Weiser, who would smoke every single day, could read better than I could remember better than I could write better than I could, worked harder than I could. And I mean, so how could I ever deny him the substance that gave him that holistic equilibrium thing going on?
Right, yeah.
So it was all good. I learned firsthand from him, probably many people that went to Herbal Risings, but thousands of other individuals from August 2012 through 2015 and 16, that cannabis is a healing plant that helps create that homeostasis. There's a lot of words for it, that balance, that zen, that chill that people need.
Wow.
And whether it's a bunch of oranges or whether it's Jesus or whether it's alcohol, whatever it is that you use responsibly and use in a intelligent manner to create that balance so that you can function as a normal human being in society, more power to you.
Yeah.
Human beings weren't all born perfect.
Right.
So people need different things. I wish people a substance-free life. I wish people a life free of needing or wanting anything.
But that's not life.
But that's not life.
Yeah.
That's not reality.
Yeah.
So how can you take away a simple plant that God made away from human beings?
Sure.
And turn it into it's going to fry your brain. That's what I thought.
Right.
I came from the 80s.
Yeah.
Anyways, because cannabis, so there's this big shift going on in my mind of 12, 13, 14, 15. So I used to think yoga was like this crazy group of hippies in this cult that were going to try to convince me to do this and do that. And Jamestown, Jonestown, the juice, whatever's coming, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Birkenstocks are next, beads, whatever.
You wear sandals a lot.
Well, I do now. Well, actually,
I do now.
I've always worn flip-flops. But now I refuse to wear shoes.
Okay.
My toes are alive, man.
See,
They need
this
life.
is yoga. Yes.
Breathe. So January 2nd, I said, okay, I'm going to try this. So I went to this one yoga retreat on January 2nd. It wasn't a retreat, but it's a place they have retreats. And I parked myself, this big wooden porch type thing with this big tent. And you could see out into the ocean where whales would be jumping and stuff.
Wow.
I've seen whales and stuff. But
that's where the ocean is, yeah.
That's the ocean. Big view, this big Hawaii, Kona.
Yeah.
And so I looked around, there were some girls, yeah. And there was this dude that was with me. And I said, okay, I had my little Mexican blanket, my little strap, and okay, what do I do? So I said, okay, I'm here. I got to pay close attention because I want to do this right. I don't want to look out of place. So I listened to every single word the instructor said. I did everything she said. So I got down in my position. I started my stretching, started to get into it. I started to do my little yoga. Then at about 50 minutes, I fell asleep. And like at an hour and 20 minutes, and the time is kind of messed up here. She's like, waking me up.
This is the first time you fall asleep.
I fell asleep.
Oh, wow.
So she's like waking me up, and I wake up like this. And I'm laying flat. I'm like, did I fart? Did I snore? And she's like, is this your first time at yoga? And I said, yeah. Why? Is it okay? And she's like, I can't believe you fell into like this sleep. Where we want you to be. You are totally relaxed. And she said, how'd you do that? And I said, I just listened and did everything that you told me to do. And she's like, wow, you really are going to click well with yoga.
Wow.
And actually it's that learning to listen. And when you find the right teachers in life, the right instructors that have the vision, that is important. But but for the cannabis industry, and but for the cannabis shift, and but for the education I received from this entire new culture of people that were educating me about the homeostasis, about the equilibrium, about the balance that can be achieved through the proper, responsible use of the cannabis plant, I would never have been in that studio.
Wow.
I would never have gone there.
Yeah.
So I went there. Then of course I was like, this is cool. Let's go find some more girls. So we went to all the studios in Kona for like a week. And then after maybe like 6 or 7 days, I was like, this is awesome.
Nice.
I had never felt better in my life.
Wow.
I mean, literally I can channel energy through if I close my eyes or just think about it, I can make the hair stand up on my arms. Look, they're standing up right now. Just go.
Oh, so now you're a yogi, huh?
It's just incredible. So then I came back to Phoenix, and then Phoenix and Tucson. This search January and February till I found the Summit Hot Yoga Flow, and then that summer I'm getting certified as an instructor.
Oh wow! So you'll be the preferred yoga instructor doing the. So now all the chicks will come to you.
Okay, well,
every guy that comes into class will be like, we're at capacity. Sorry.
So after I started the Summit Yoga Flow in March, that's when it became about me. Just about me, and no longer about anyone else, including a search for girls and stuff. Because I was single and stuff. It was not about that. It was all about me. And my journey through yoga has just been, this is unbelievable. But I think that's one of the magics about the industry that we're in, is that it's a paradigm shift. It's an eye-opening experience. It wakes people up to what's going on in regards to this plant, in regards to the community, but also in regards to other things too.
Okay.
Because when you start realizing how not stupid, not ignorant, not unaware, not uneducated, not unknowing, the people around you and the government officials are.
Yeah.
And you can become more and more cognizant and you start adapting that cognizance to your life on a daily basis. It really it really helps let you explore new ideas and new concepts and alternative perspectives. And it helps open your mind. And, that's why I think it's so unfortunate that people are so angry and not loving with Trump, because, I think that shows a sense of intolerance and a sense of unnecessary judgment that
Well, definitely the
people shouldn't
world
have.
has definitely gotten. I mean, I don't see the. I guess there's no unified voice in any of these protests, really, or any of this hate that's going on right now. They're killing people, they're killing business owners, they're killing security guards. Black security guard got killed in California. It's just there's an excuse to go crazy. It seems like maybe this COVID, everybody who became asymptomatic became murderous or violent. It could be part of this. COVID-19, if it didn't kill you, it's going to kill somebody else through you type of shit. That's my new conspiracy theory on that one. But
what blows my mind is that, if there's one thing I know for certain, it's that love, tolerance, understanding, awareness, moving away from a judgmental nature is the answer to rid yourself of the demons that you bear or that others around you think.
But it's so easy to keep your demons if you judge others.
Right. Nothing would scare you more than me accepting and loving you for who you are.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You can hate me.
But I'm going to judge you. I'm going to say, why are you trying to do this? I'm going to look
Judge
at you.
me.
Yeah.
Hate me. Imprison me. Send your military after me.
But see, then you're gone, and then now what? Then all the crazy rules the world.
Oh, once I'm gone?
I'm saying, you say imprison me, they're going to imprison everybody like you, then what?
Well, I mean, that's okay. That happens.
That's okay,
Yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, quote unquote, good people will suffer.
Yeah, so you're one of the martyrs for the people if it happens?
I'm like Job, man.
Yeah.
Book of Job.
Yeah, I'm aware. It's job.
You just got to keep the faith. You got to keep the faith. And it's not like a spiritual thing. Maybe it is a spiritual thing, but it's not necessarily attributed to like Jesus Christ or the Bible. People get really upset over institutionalized religion and being forced to read some books and stuff.
Well, there's over 10,000 gods.
Yeah, but the story of Job is a story. It's a story of hope.
Yeah.
It's a story of faith. It's a story of keeping a fucking good attitude.
Yeah.
A positive mindset.
God will take everything from you, but you gotta stay positive. And
someone will.
Yeah.
If it's not God, it might be that asshole over there.
Well, God's working through him. Is that how it always works?
Maybe. It doesn't matter, though. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. But you can lose everything as long as you keep a positive attitude. It will get better.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's one of those mysteries. I love the Book of Job. I had the good fortune of being taught the Book of Job by Elie Wiesel, who was a famous Holocaust survivor. Elie Wiesel, he wrote a big book. He did a lot of different academic stuff, but he was most known for his work in regards to reminding people about the horrors of the Holocaust.
Uh-huh.
He's very famous, Nobel Peace Prize winning author. So I was at Boston University, and he was one of our professors, and he taught me about.
Oh, wow.
He taught like 300 of us about the Book of Job. It was not just me, but when Elie Wiesel is lecturing you for a week about the Book of Job, you're pretty focused because it's Elie Wiesel, it's the Book of Job, and I mean there's all these other professors lining the rooms waiting, trying to get our seats
for this presentation.
Yeah. So that it really set in, and I think all of us go through things in life where we confront situations, and the Job is a good it's a good story that it helps keep you going, and reminds you that in the end you will triumph, whatever that means. And maybe you'll just die.
That's a crazy thing, man. That's what I was talking about with this last podcast about Michael. Was I went out to see him during the quarantine, he was gloved up, masked up. He rolled me a joint with water and made sure nobody touched anything. And then a fucking heart attack. That's you say you could be as cautious or as crazy as you want to be. You could live 100 years, or it could be today. Yeah, that's fortunate thing about life is you don't know. This whole life is crazy right now, and Yosemite is about to erupt.
Yosemite is about to erupt?
Yeah, Yosemite National Park has had 12 earthquakes in the last 24 hours.
I like that. That's good. I'm waiting for that trigger. I think that
would be the ultimate on the cake. Darkness for 2 years, just ash in the air.
Well,
total anarchy.
It needs to be something a little less geographical and a little bit more global.
Well, that would be pretty global.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. California is pretty important, but
well, I'm just saying when a super volcano erupts, it blocks out the whole sun.
Roll with me here, just because the pandemic.
Yeah, that's still happening. Has not went away.
Inequality, and a racial sense.
Uh-huh.
Okay, racial inequality. These are global issues.
Yeah.
That impact and affect every single human on Earth.
Uh-huh.
Okay? So you have strike one, pandemic.
Yeah.
Strike two, the race issue rises to the forefront, interwoven with poverty. And so people around the world are reminded of this ugliness, this concept that we've, passed on through, generations and generations of human history of racially based decisions. Although I don't see that, I see it as a police problem personally, because I am brown, and when I saw that, I saw it as a police issue. But we'll talk about that. But most people see it as a race issue. I honestly think it's a police issue more than a race issue.
I see the white people doing more destruction than anybody.
You know what? Look, let me get into it. So, pandemic, race. If there's a third issue that touches all of humanity at once, the keg's going to explode.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yosemite, probably not it. But if there's something, it is this summer, it's hot.
Yeah.
Most people live on the hot side of the planet,
the
northern hemisphere. This summer is like the summer of 68.
Shit's going to go down.
All that stuff was happening. And, I think something big could happen. And I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe Biden gets assassinated. You see what I'm saying? Biden gets assassinated by some, I don't know who, follow me there. There a lot of stuff could happen. But wait, I had a thought. I could thought that I said, hold on to that a second. Oh, police. Yeah.
Oh, the white people. Yeah.
I was in law enforcement for 10 years. I was raised in a very diverse, economic background. Brown people, Mexicans, black people, whites, rich people, poor people, right in the center of Tucson. And we had across the board. And, I was in law enforcement for 10, 12 years. Dealt with a lot of police officers. Who I was a domestic violence prosecutor. Excuse me. So we were like,
you want some water or anything, man?
Yeah, we want.
I'll order you some.
Can we really just order water?
Yeah. It's like Uber, but for the house.
No, I'm good, bro.
I got it.
No, I'm good.
Watch.
A glass of water is good.
Yeah, I'll get it for you.
Not unless you have like a robot or something.
I got two of them. Watch.
Okay, so check it out. So I'm not gonna, the truth is the truth. I had some conversations with some police officers about, so when you arrested him after, you came and he was drunk and he beat up his wife, did he feel the arrest? Did
he feel the arrest?
Feel the arrest. He's like, oh yeah, I did. I'm like, okay, that's cool. This son of a bitch fucking beat the shit out of this woman. Right.
So they gave it to him. What you're saying?
Right. Okay. Yeah. So police officers, this kind of stuff happens. But they're mostly good people just trying to do a job.
But what's one of the assholes up here underneath them? They have the opportunity to give them one or two. They're going to give them one or two.
And sometimes these guys deserve the one or two. Okay, right. But let's not talk about that. It happens to white people. It happens to brown people.
That's what police do.
It happens to black people.
Yeah.
This is a police training issue. This is a police state issue. This is a militarizing of our police department's issue. When I saw that, I said, my first thought was, in what reality is the neck hold still allowed?
Right.
And if you Google that, it's not allowed most places.
But they still do it everywhere, every day.
No, well,
That knee on the neck? I see it. If you watch Live PD, every night.
Well, it's out of the training manual, and police departments can get sued for it in certain jurisdictions. In Minneapolis, it's okay.
Huh.
Okay, that's freaking nuts.
First off, it's okay. It's not even out of the book. It's still in the book.
I saw that, I said, dude is poorly trained. Dude is not communicating well. He's an asshole. That cop has got serious fucking issues listening, and he's got a character that doesn't work well as a police officer, because as people were instigating him and trying to tell him what to do, his reaction wasn't to dissect and listen to what they had to say. He became combative. So he put his knee down harder. Yeah. Just freaking, the guy's an idiot. The guy probably deserves second degree, first degrey, third degree murder. I'd have to look at their statutes to see what it says. Yes, it is a murder. Yes, it is a killing. But is it racially motivated?
Well, no, that's part of the thing is it's just a cop thing.
It is a cop thing. Yeah. And that's what frustrates me, is that, you got to get really careful when you get into intent. And when you look into a man's heart, look into a man's eyes, and look at this. This is awesome.
See, I told you.
Uber'd rate that up.
Yeah.
That's some high-tech shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you got to get really, really, you start questioning a man's intent and start believing you know what's in his heart. That's really not necessarily a good way to approach life. This cop needs to be fired, needs to be prosecuted, needs to be imprisoned. Maybe deserves the freaking death penalty.
Here's a few things I saw about the cop. It could be all fake news or not, but these are the things I saw just via Facebook pretty much. But first off, him and the security guard, or him and the guy, both have worked in the same security, at the same bar, security shifts. They've worked together. They've known each other for 15 years. So first off,
Floyd?
Yep, they've known each other for 15 years.
The two of them knew each other?
Yeah, that's what first thing I saw. One of the things I saw on Facebook. I don't know if it's true or not, but this is one of the things that are going out there. Then he did
treat your friends that way.
Yeah. So then they do arrest him and charge him with third-degree murder, manslaughter, and in his suicide watch jail cell, he did kill himself.
Who did?
The cop.
The cop's dead?
Supposedly.
When?
As of yesterday.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What
so
kind?
He was on suicide watch, and then he supposedly killed himself.
Really?
Yeah.
Can we Google that somewhere?
Yeah. April, can you pull that up for us if you can?
Yeah. But well, that's interesting. Okay, so, but back to that racial thing. This happens to
everybody.
White people.
Yeah. 400 something to 200 killed by cops. 400 white people to 200 black people killed. Yeah.
There's white people, there's brown people, there's black people. It generally, to me, is a poverty thing.
Yeah.
It happens, and I think a lot of the problems we have today, a lot of poor white people voted for Trump because for certain reasons, and they're being, there's millions of poor white people who are not part of this moral majority, this not moral majority, but this the privileged elite. And they're like, we're a little disenfranchised too. Hello. And all I'm saying is that their interests also need to be taken into consideration. Yes, there's black people. Yes, there's brown people. Yes, there's Indians, but there's also white people. Poverty is the disease.
So now it's go for the rich, eat the rich.
Yeah, but so when
what level? What neighborhood is it?
Well, what are you gonna do? Look, this. Somebody might think that you have this 2,500. How many square feet is this place?
It's just under 5,000.
Yeah, 5,000 square foot luxury mansion.
You're putting out way too much. That's false news here.
Wooden, high tech cabinetry and stuff in this beautiful studio. Why doesn't every poor person from the hood have a studio like this?
Right. But you knew me 4 years ago when the rent, when I lived in a 1,200 square foot house and I only had furniture that was on the floor, and my couch was the third row of our van, and that's when I got into the cannabis industry. Was when I started. Was right there. We didn't have a couch. We had the third row of our van. And we had a mattress on the floor. The kids got beds first, and we slowly moved up. but that's all through breaking away and saying I'm gonna have to work for myself. I can't. There's a cat you just heard.
No. I'm
Yeah.
looking around. It takes a village, and I'm taxing the rich. I'm taking something home with me.
What the hell are you talking about? So this is,
I'm taking one of these $50 mics.
so you're already accounting my
I
items
don't even
here.
have a mic. Somebody has to.
See?
The looters are going to come here next.
Yeah, that's just it. That's what I got a family. I got kids here. There's 4 people. There's 4 incomes here.
I'll tell you, that was my one purchase during this whole pandemic thing.
There's a gun.
No. A lot of ammunition.
So you don't have the gun.
I only have a shotgun. That's my only weapon.
That's a good, especially for crowd control.
It's a great shotgun.
Yeah.
So I bought like 480 shells.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, I have like this many boxes of shotgun shells.
See, that's what gets me. The people who have a lot of guns and not very many bullets.
Yeah.
Get one good gun and a lot of bullets. Your shotgun will get hot and it'll need to be cleaned. So you need a backup.
Oh, well?
Yeah, because it'll jam up.
What? When did you raid a freaking... How many shotguns have you shot 50 times?
I'm aware of this. So, especially shotguns because they have the plastic shells.
Okay, Mr. Rodney King Ryder.
I know things, man. I mean, that was some of the training that we used to do. I was a mortgage guy, but also we had MMA classes, and we did disarming and Krav Maga, not Krav Maga, Kali, fighting with knives.
Well, the most I've ever been through is 22 shots, and
real?
like
Reload, yeah.
Yeah, because it only takes 5.
Yeah.
So I remember, so I did them pretty quickly. Didn't jam. Out in the desert.
Yeah. That's illegal to shoot out in the desert?
Is it?
Yeah. Anytime.
Anywhere.
Anywhere in Arizona, it's illegal. I thought it was totally, everybody does it, first off.
Okay.
But
I thought it was a national forest, so.
Arizona, BLM, you cannot shoot.
Okay, the lady at the marina.
I know, everybody does
at
it.
Lake Roosevelt.
Everybody
I
does
asked her,
it.
where do people go shooting around here?
Over there, yeah.
She said, over there.
Because that's where everybody does it. But that's why if a spark, if one of these, if full metal jackets hits a rock and it sparks, and then, sets a bushfire, whatever, that's, Arizona, that's why I've had these fires out here recently during these quarantines.
There has to be places that we can go shoot.
Yeah, they're called shooting ranges.
No, but like in the
They're
desert.
gun ranges.
It's a freaking desert.
Really, honestly, BLM is not the place. Yeah.
All national, all state land, you can't shoot.
I saw that.
Even if you're like a mile and a half from a residence.
You can do it on a private property, but BLM, actual Bureau of Land Management, you're not supposed to be shooting anything on.
I have to look into that.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
You're the attorney, man. You know how to get around it.
I haven't.
Are you still in the bar?
No. I actually was never part of the Arizona bar.
No? You got
A
disbarred?
lot of people know. No, I was never disbarred. I passed the bar in 2003, but I didn't become a member. I was prosecuting until 2010, and then the cannabis industry started in 2012.
So, as prosecuting attorney for the state, you don't have to be on the
tribes.
Oh, okay, I got you now.
I was a prosecutor, like a little program they do at the city and county in 1998 and 1999, and then went from the city and the county to the Pasco Yaquis, and then the Tohono O'odhams in 1998, I think it was actually a long time ago, and then stayed there for the better part of from 98 to 2010, and then I didn't want to do that anymore because there's really domestic violence prosecution.
So you saw the tribal police even putting in these extra little hits, is what you're saying.
Yeah, we had like 120 police officers.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's not the kind of thing. I'm just being frank,
But it's just police officers in general. This is their generalized training.
No, it's not their training. Definitely not their training.
This is the club.
It's a little
mentality.
attitude. Yeah, I mean, this stuff happens. You know, when there's some discussions and stuff, but really just a couple here and there, and it's not that big, but it happens.
Which the ones who know it happens, those are the good cops, right?
Well, I mean, it's just to say good and bad. There's a kind of complicated terms.
Yeah.
Because if you know that a woman got the shit kicked out of her, and then he was taken into custody, and the cops roughed him up on the way into custody, is that bad? Well, technically yes, but kind of no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like maybe the dog will learn more.
But if the cop says something to Internal Affairs about that cop who did something, he's the one who's the asshole, right?
Yeah, then there's all those kinds of issues too.
Yeah.
But there is definitely a culture of silence because they don't want to get on each other's bad side. But definitely there's some serious issues in the Minneapolis Police Department.
Yeah.
I mean, the way those guys are communicating with each other, and you can see that Officer Chow or the Asian one just wasn't even like listening to him, and wasn't second guessing him, wasn't questioning him, they weren't policing each other.
Right.
There's some serious training issues there, and in no reality, I mean, and you can Google neck holds, knee to neck holds, they're just not allowed anymore.
Wow.
It's almost considered a civil right abuse, but in Minneapolis, technically, it's still allowed.
That's crazy.
That guy he's fucked up, man. I hope he committed suicide.
I think that's the case. April, did you find it? No, he did not. That was just a rumor. Is he arrested? He's arrested still, 3rd-degree murder, manslaughter, 3rd-degree manslaughter. So did not kill himself. That was just a Snopes rumor.
Snopes. Well, I thought Snopes were the fact checkers.
She's fact checked it on Snopes. I was the rumor.
Oh, you were the rumor, and you got
rumor.
Snopes.
She snoped me.
She snoped you.
So good call. But everything else was accurate. All right. So he is still alive. He should kill himself.
I like my background. Look at that.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah. That's like the wall, but like in Technicolor.
Yeah.
My favorite album, by the way.
Michael Jackson?
No, The Wall. Pink Floyd. Come on. I know you got good taste.
Yeah. But that actually looks like, mine looks like the Michael Jackson cover.
Oh, what is that?
That's the...
Right? Maybe Janet Jackson.
Oh, that's Janet Jackson. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, you look like Janet Jackson.
Yeah. Thanks.
Black, sexy, big boobs. I'm just kidding.
I think yoga's done more to you than weed will do to anybody, man. That's...
Well, people say that all the time. I mean, like today, Destiny, the girl who works with me, she was in the office. She's like, you say stuff like you're high. Are you sure? She's like, I'm convinced you smoke pot.
You probably have a tumor, and everybody's trying to tell you, and you're like, nah, I'm loving life, and it's just growing more and more. It's excreting more and more endorphins into your head, just happier. Like,
I don't know.
Like some mentally challenged kid with a lollipop.
No. I mean, things are good. I have my issues. I mean, about that guy Alex who screwed me. I mean, he
was the reason you were going to Hawaii. Why you found yoga? So you cannot say that.
He's not the reason I went to Hawaii. He joined me.
That was the business plan I saw.
Yeah. Well, he was part of the Hawaii project.
Yeah.
But he joined the Hawaii project.
Okay.
Yeah, I invited him to come out of his law practice to be part of the cannabis industry.
Right. During that time.
Yeah, no good deed goes unpunished.
Right.
He just turned into a solid loser.
He might be watching.
That's okay. He has to live with his own demons, and he always will.
That's cool. You can say that about people because it's hard for me to call people losers.
No, it's okay. I helped. As you know, that was 2015, October 2015, when I helped him. And now, he's sitting on the board of Cave Creek Dispensary.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't be there. But that was October 2015. But prior to that, from like 2014, and the number of people that we helped, the number of job trainings that we held, the job trainings that you held on the weekly, the conferences. I remember Rory Mendoza, God bless his little soul. I don't know where he's hustling.
He's
now.
out in California. I see it. He's living on the beach. He's loving life. It seems like.
It doesn't matter to me, but he's just another example. This is what I love about this cannabis industry, because people come to MITA all the time, say, Demitri, I met you here. You told me to go talk to that person. I'm now working here. You gave me this advice. I have this opportunity. You helped me find this deal. You helped me introduce this person. We made this deal. The number of individuals that I've connected or contacted in this Arizona national cannabis industry has been fantastic and just tremendous. And we've helped a lot of people. Every time you taught on that Saturday or whatever days they were, Saturday and Sunday, you're helping people. You're teaching people. You're giving them new hope, new opportunity. That's what life is about.
Yeah.
Like Rory, he screwed me on the conference deal. Yeah, whatever. We had to sue him. Eventually the judge, we won that, and he went on his way. but you know,
Is he fed up? Are you done with him?
he's long gone. But that's one little example. 50 to 100 people were helped during the time that I knew him.
Wow.
He was looking for a new life in March of 2015, and he was having a baby in November 2015. And I said, "Look, what can you do?" He's like, "I can promote. I can put on events." I'm like, "I want to do the SWCC Expo in October 2015, a dry run for 2016, and I want to do a job fair, and I want to, bring all the members of the cannabis industry together, educate about cannabis, the science, the industry, the ops." And he was running it for us, and we were working together. And eventually we had a disagreement around October 2015. He went on his way and he tried to steal the expo from us and the concepts and stuff. But, and he's gone. But, then one time in 2017, I'm in Denver because I've been to like 108 conferences around the world. Yeah. And met people from everywhere, from President Fox to Jamaican ministers to Canadians to just everywhere. The journey has been incredible. Yeah. So, 2017, I'm like in Denver talking to Vankst. Vankst is a pretty big company, and the girl who owns Vankst, she's like, "Oh yeah, I was at ASU. I was at your job fair your cannabis education fair at the Phoenix Convention Center in October 2015." Right. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I didn't know the 300 people that were there, but that's great that you came, and now look what you're doing, and you have a big company, and you're helping others. I was like, that's fantastic. And I look back upon the body of work in the cannabis industry, and it's easy to forget the issues that happen with people like Rory and Alex. They're just, diseased souls that have to handle their own situations. And there's all kinds of other positives and there's all kinds of other negatives. But, you just keep going forward, and that you just have faith and you have hope and you have joy, and you just keep on going, and you know how it is.
So what's on the horizon then, man? What do you see next? You still see MITA being the leader project, or you got something else coming up?
MITA's had 200, 400 people. We have 78 members, business members. We have 200, 400 people for 48 months until COVID. And it functions a little bit politically. We're the ones who help get the card costs lowered. I have a few other things I want to achieve before we're politically done. I mean, who knows what's going to happen, actually. The whole legalization thing is really complicated. I'm one of the guys who started complicating it back in 2015. Sure. As you know. But I'm trying to kind of lay low and stay out of it because I know too much. I literally know too much. And that's good, but that's bad. So MITA is still rocking and rolling, and we're doing the virtual seminars now, www.mita-az.org. Get on our email blast and you can get information about what we do. But
so how do you see the virtual seminar? I know a lot of the people came to MITA for free shit, right? To kind of get the pens and the free samples and the booths and things like that.
What's next?
So that's what I'm getting to. So okay. I'm segueing, man. I'm building you up for this.
I was self-segueing. Just roll with me.
I'm building up an ambiance for the listener here. So before we'd walk around and get this free shit, and now we've been online, we can't get it. So what are you about to say? We got some free shit coming to us?
Oh, no.
We got goodie bags if we sign up on your mailing list? What's...
Tell me about the rabbits.
Yeah.
Tell me about the rabbits.
I didn't mean to throw you off. You're segueing yourself, and I'm trying to help you out.
So we're doing the virtual events. And that's good. And we're going to go back to doing conferences probably next year.
So 2021 is what you're saying?
Yeah, 2021 we'll do conferences, but we're going to come back with MITA in August, July or August, with a vengeance. I love nothing more than getting all these members of the cannabis industry together. Yeah. And talking to them one-on-one and sharing with them stories and hearing their stories and saying, and that kind of interaction is just wonderful to me. And that's why MITA is about accountability. Is transparency. Only cockroaches hide in the dark. You won't find people that ripped each other off at MITA.
What are you talking about? I go there.
When's the last time you ripped somebody off?
It's been a while, but still.
Exactly. That's my point. I'm sure a couple of people ripped you off.
Recently, but
Yeah, exactly. And if you see them at MITA, they'll run. You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing, man. The online thing, you can still give away the gift bags and stuff. You should still do the raffles. So they still have ticket numbers.
Yeah, we should do more giveaways online.
Yeah. So I think that will help with get people watching more.
But, I have some projects that I'm working on with some Mexican groups.
Is that the right term?
Groups? Touche. You caught that. The future's in Mexico.
Yeah.
The future's in Mexico. It's going huge in regards to the Mexican cannabis industry down there.
Yeah.
And I've met a number of individuals, and there's and it is the right term. They're groups.
So how does that work? I mean, I know the average wage is like $2 to $5 a day in Mexico. Am I accurate on that? Like when I talk to like
pesos, $5 for a peasant, it's $5 a day.
$5 a day.
Yeah.
So
for a peasant farmer.
They can't. Well, these are people I worked at like what's it? Alamo, the Hertz Enterprise car rental places.
$10 to $15 a day.
They're getting like $3 to $5 a day for being a real car agent.
Yeah, well, it's usually about 150 to 200 pesos a day. Then that's about $10.
So how does that translate in the cannabis industry when you're talking $20 a gram?
Well, no one knows exactly what's going to happen yet. Everyone knows it's just going to happen. I mean, there already is a giant gray market down there. It's gigantic.
But they're buying it for 50 cents an eighth.
Yeah, but the Mexican government is going to legalize it. They're making giant plans, and a lot of what they're doing is taking into account the social equity issues and forming licenses that are allowed to be used by co-ops and municipalities. So their structure is going to look a lot different than what people have seen in the United States, and they're gearing up for exportation.
Okay.
So I mean, they want to export, and
they do that now.
Well, exactly, but legally. What's going to be really interesting is that a lot of the rest of the world is going to be doing import-export. Israel, Mexico.
But America is not. You can't even cross the lines. You can't even cross the state.
No, that's an issue. So the federal government's going to end up doing something. And this is where it gets frustrating, because I can tell you the nuances of all this. I don't like to talk about the nuances of this because this is where I know too much. There's a lot of political powers that be now that in the cannabis industry who would claim that they're great members of the cannabis industry, who are trying to manipulate the laws to their own benefit. And for example, when it goes from state legalization to federal legalization, and the question of interstate commerce comes up, there'll be groups in Arizona that try to manipulate it so the state laws don't change so that you can't do import and export, because they don't want California, Oregon, or Washington weed coming through and being sold in Arizona dispensaries.
Why not?
Because they have big cultivations that support themselves right now.
But California has a big cultivation that has too much weed, and they have extra. So your Arizona dispensary could use it.
Own it.
But they could use it.
They don't own it.
The patients could use it. They could go for some quality Arizona, California weed.
About their patients?
Well, that's not the problem. That's the issue is when you go. Let's open up all 50 states.
Who has the lobbyists?
Well, not the patients.
Exactly. So these are realities that I'm very cognizant of. Florida is worse.
But the patient has the microphone. I have the show.
Well, Florida, New York, they're investing hundreds of millions of dollars in cultivation facilities in Florida and New York right now. And those companies are also hiring lobbyists. They have state laws that protect this intrastate market. You think their lobbyists aren't going to be in Albany or in Tallahassee? Is that the capitals? Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Tallahassee. That's freaking. I'm on fire tonight.
But what if they go?
Do you think they're not going to be at the Capitol saying, "Okay, thank you, federal legalization. We don't want California weed."
But what if they want to sell it to California now because they have too much?
Therein lies the fissure.
Yeah.
That fissure is what's going to chop everything up. And so you're going to have groups, and I'll tell you, I'm so 100% certain that's going to happen. You're going to have Copper State with this giant cultivation up in Snowflake. You're going to have Sunday Goods with their giant cultivation down in Wilcox.
There's only 120 dispensaries.
131.
Okay.
I mean,
so there's a little bit more than the last time I counted. Yeah. 131.
So you're going to have these giant cultivations that are going to be like, okay, we want interstate commerce. We want to be able to sell to Kentucky, Alabama.
But we don't want them coming in here.
But we don't want to come in here. But that's just not going to work.
It's not going to work. You
know,
can't have
but
both.
your
Yeah.
state laws have to change with your federal laws because they have to come into the state system.
Yeah.
So this tension is going to exist, and the battle's going to happen behind the scenes at the Capitol with lobbyists. But you're going to have a fissure because you're going to have the small cultivation owner who's producing at $150 to $300 a pound, whatever his production costs are, in a 10,000 or 50,000 square foot warehouse, who's going to be like, "Damn you, Copper State! We don't want California weed coming in here at $200 a pound.
Sure.
That's going to kill our business model." Copper State's, they're planning for interstate commerce. Well, I sure hope so. So you're going to have this giant tension that exists, and I could help and be right in the middle of it, but quite frankly, it kind of bores me. I'm very well aware of all these nuances, all the issues, all the players, how the thing is going to develop, could develop, might develop, and what's going on. But Michael's death, it got me thinking a lot. It got me really thinking a lot. I don't want to be remembered as a cannabis advocate. I want to be remembered as an advocate for freedom, for choice, for truth, for justice. I want to be remembered as a historian, as a teacher, as a philosopher. Michael was
he was remembered for all those.
He was all those. But everybody's talking about Michael, the great cannabis advocate. Smart and safe, his legacy. Blah,
at
blah,
his
blah.
house, when we did the memorial from Beth, it was really interesting because his students come up. You had people from his poetry class, just different areas of his life that was not cannabis, come up and talk about how Michael touched him, and it was a lot more than just cannabis, and that's where we knew him from. But that was really a small aspect of his life. He was a teacher. He was a poet. He was a musician.
Right.
He did a lot more than cannabis, and but when he was with us, that's all he did.
Right.
He was 100% passionate about it. But at the beginning of my classes, he would go, "Do you want to hear a rap or do you want to hear a poem?" And the students would tell him, and then he would lay it out just like that because he had that ability to lay it out art and create it anywhere he wanted, anywhere he saw it. All around his house was like wooden pieces of art put together. He had a big white trash peace sign on this hill. It's the biggest white trash peace sign. It's made all the white trash he found out of all around his property. So it's a white trash peace sign. His deal. But he everywhere you see, there's these little art pieces created. All from it, there's different things. The day he died, he was creating a pathway, a walkway, at his house. He was uncovering the stuff. He was a plumber. He was an electrician. One of the stories his son told at his memorial was that in the winter they were living in Illinois and they didn't have the furnace went out, and Michael wanted to make sure that his family didn't go cold, so he built a wood burning stove in the middle of his living room and made sure his family had heat during the Illinois winter. So he was definitely more than a cannabis man. He was a Renaissance man beyond our knowledge, but he was passionate, and he was passionate about freedom. He's passionate about the plant that made him feel better and that gave him the ability to do these creative and artistic things. And when we saw him, we saw that passion. But so many people saw other passions in him. My daughter, he learned to play the guitar from Michael when he stayed at our house. That's something she still does today. She still takes guitar lessons and still plays the guitar. He didn't just inspire her, though. He inspired everybody he talked to, everybody he saw. And not only people that saw him on a daily basis, but people that heard of him were inspired from Michael to create things that never even met him. So
yeah, that's Michael. We had a really intimate relationship. He stayed at my house many nights. He had keys. He still has keys.
They're somewhere.
Every place.
They're lanyard somewhere. Yeah.
Since 2014, he's had keys to every single place I've lived since 2000. That's how close we were. Yeah. And I trust him. I can't trust him anymore.
Yeah.
He went and died on me, brother.
Yeah, no shit.
But I trusted him like a brother, and we had a great conversation. I don't know at times if he was Socrates or Aristotle or Plato, if I was Socrates, Aristotle, Plato. We just had this conversation going back and forth where there was no misunderstandings. It was no judgment, open mind. We would speak passionately about different subjects, and he had his opinions, but he knew how to handle himself in conversations.
Yeah. Other people did not know how to handle themselves when they talked to Michael.
Although Trump did get to him. Trump's really gotten to the liberal left. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It just bothers him so much. But whatever.
Yeah.
You can't let anything bother you that much. And if it does bother you that much, love it.
Yeah.
You know, love it, confuse it. You know, I mean, imagine if like, you know, Biden said, you know, Trump, I love you, my brother. You know, pray with me.
Yeah.
That's not what he says. You know, he says you're Hitler. You know, Trump is not Hitler. You know, and nor is. I mean, it's simple like freaking. You know, Gandhi said it best. Remember, it was in the movie, and they said it's a true scene. But remember, the Muslim guy killed the baby of an Indian guy, and he goes to Gandhi and he says, "Eat, Gandhi." Is it the movie? Eat. You will eat. We have stopped the violence. I killed. It was, I forgot which way it was, one way or the other. I killed a Muslim baby. I am going to hell, but I'm not going. This is an Indian guy speaking. But I'm not going to hell with your soul on my shoulders. You eat now. And then Gandhi says, I know a way out of hell. And the Indian guy says, tell me. He says, go find a Muslim baby and raise it in your family. A Muslim baby whose parents have died in this madness. And raise it in your family. But raise it as a Muslim.
Wow.
Raise it as a Muslim with all the Muslim traditions. And you will find your path out of hell.
So starving,
Well,
hundreds of days, but this is what he
it's
said.
understanding, it's love, it's compassion, it's that simple. It's that simple. But people have just forgotten that, and it's just sad.
Well, nobody looks at anybody else's perspective. Nobody. It's all about themselves. There's nobody.
That's because they have blinders on.
Hellstar. I was kidding.
What's that?
We just watched this.
They have blinders on.
The Wrong Missy on Netflix. It's a David Spade movie. It's pretty fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But the chick in it, she.
Tell me, I had my skew on there. Ruined the whole thing.
There you go.
Like, it commercialized my.
It had pupils.
That was like a. Oh, that's actually clever. I like that.
You were winking at one point.
It commercialized my art.
Well, that definitely shows that you did not. You purchased this orange. You did not pick it from your tree of life.
No, I didn't pick it from anywhere. It's just an orange, but it smells good.
It's limonene. It's a terpene within cannabis. It makes you high on its own.
There's a pandemic going around, my friend. I eat 2 oranges and 1 lemon a day.
You eat a whole lemon?
Yeah. Well, I squeeze it into.
This has limonene in it. I just smoke one of these a day. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You know,
Same dose.
I am not a scientifically I'm not a doctor, but when I saw that this was a respiratory thing back in early March, I was like, avoid cigarettes, anything. So
I'm inhaling limonene right now.
Yeah.
Same thing you're doing, but mine's working better because it has other cannabinoids to help fight COVID. CBD kills COVID. They said that in Canada.
You know what? Life is about choices, and I wish you all the luck.
Neither one of us are wearing masks.
Well, I'm all about the risk. I have been doing speakeasy yoga. We did speakeasy yoga during the pandemic from April 1st until May 15th. About 3 to 12 teachers got together quietly.
So it was all back door. You had
all back door.
Park down the street, just act like you're going on a walk.
The first rule of speakeasy yoga is
so you just broke that.
Don't talk about speakeasy yoga.
You just broke that.
Well, it's over now.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Do they have boards on the window?
No, the media is not interested in the subject anymore. Oh, the pandemic. Yeah, no, the pandemic's still around. But look at the Hong Kong flu killed 100,000 people in 1968. And what did most Americans do? They do what Americans do best.
They go to work.
Go about their lives.
Yeah.
Damn straight. It's what we do. It's our religion. Freedom is our religion. Choice is our religion. Hard work is our religion. Perseverance is our religion. Courage is our religion. Foolhardy bravery is our religion, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
We will die on our feet, but we will die free. Maybe stupid and free, but we will die free.
Yeah.
And you can't stop that. And guess what? I think in the end, as long as there's one American alive, we will triumph.
Yeah.
And that's why I truly believe this whole shutdown thing was kind of, unnecessary. I think they should just let it, ride that sucker like a cowboy. Exactly what Trump said with his instincts. The guy's freaking an odd duck, but he people need to understand.
Are you voting for Trump?
More. I think I will vote for Trump over Biden. If the
When
Democrats,
it comes down to it, that's
well, I would prefer Tulsi. I was all about Tulsi.
yeah.
As a young, beautiful, intelligent, articulate veteran, independent Hindu woman from Hawaii who surfs. Come on,
Yeah.
you know.
It's never gonna make it. Never gonna.
Tulsi was a dream candidate for me. And then of course all the staunchy old guys could help her behind the scenes, whatever. Like Biden and all the boys helped Obama cut the China deals and the Ukraine deals. Those stuff happened anyway. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
While Obama was out there being the good guy, the articulate guy, the hope guy, the visionary guy. Wonderful president. I loved him. But that institutionalized system that we have happening behind the scenes, it goes on.
Yeah.
It rolls on.
We don't vote for that.
You know, it just happens. And that's quote unquote the deep state. Quote unquote they, quote unquote the, you know, it just exists. It's this institutionalized system.
Is that who's dropping off bricks downtown?
No, I don't know about that. I got no proof on that. But we're educated into a certain pattern of thought.
Yeah.
You know, in regards to the nation states and the value of the nation states and how nation states interact with each other. You know, the concept of war as a solution to a problem. Well, you learn that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it might be all backwards and wrong, but that's what we learn. And that's what it is.
Yeah, you see that with kindergartners and preschoolers, though. If they have something, if another kid has something they want, they hit them and they take it.
Yeah, and maybe that's the only way it can be.
Yeah.
Maybe that we're doomed as human beings to be a certain way.
We act civilized, but down when you come down to it, we're a couple of apes with sticks.
Yeah. But I believe in our creativity, and I believe the possibility of other systemic, you know, existences and
well, look at
communes and stuff.
Tons of inventions. Look at this. I mean, I could push this button, and I could be wearing sunglasses. Oops, sort of. Somebody invented that shit, you know.
What's that?
I can make Snoop Dogg. If you do this, you summon Snoop Dogg. You see him up there on the screen over there by my. Cool. He's dancing on my shoulder.
Can you put anything over here?
Let's see. Let's go to Dimitri's view here.
Fatality.
we just killed you there, Demitri.
Can you give me a little dancing thing?
Drop the bomb on you. Yeah, of course, man. Here we go. Let's get out here. Douglas Pacey came all the way out from freaking Buckeye.
I like Doug.
To come out here. Yeah.
I like Doug.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He
you watched that. Yeah, you commented, you were talking to us the whole time. You're sitting at home while he drove all the way the fuck out here.
Yeah.
To be on it, but yeah. Well, you came out, man. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, Doug and I have always gotten along well, and you know, he knows the good guys and the bad guys in this industry and the ups and the downs. And you know what? You know, since your audience is here, I really, there's something I've learned through this industry, and that's the importance of free market economics
Yeah.
and the value of that. And anything other than that is either greedy or short-sighted. And that's another reason why I don't get involved in this. And the cannabis industry, as it's forming and developing, is not about free market economics, and that's unfortunate. A lot of people are staying out of it, which is fine. They're just letting whatever happen.
Uh-huh.
But it's a free market economics that leads to innovation. It leads to opportunity. It allows new generations to find new successes. It allows for faster development of products. And I try to tell people that now that I've learned, now that I understand, and I've been on both sides and both perspectives. But you're only hurting yourself by not allowing the marketplace to evolve and develop as freely as possible.
Well, I mean, Arizona has 200,000 patients right now. We have 130 dispensaries open, 134. What have you said there? Oklahoma has 200,000 patients. They've been doing this for a year and a half, 2 years maybe, and they have 2,000 dispensaries open.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a free market.
Well, and not as many people are making as much money, but that's not the point.
Well, if it grows to 1 million patients, if it grows, because at the same rate, because Arizona's been doing it since 2013 now.
Here's what I tell
7
people.
years.
You think you have some great brand like just say Bake Bros, and I love Bake Bros. I think they could replace NyQuil one day. But there's 50 Bake Bros in Oklahoma. Okay,
but is there one good one?
Well,
and
here's
49 shitty ones.
Well, here's the thing. When Kellogg's comes looking, and Bake Bros has 90% market penetration here in Arizona, right? And I know Nadeem really well. He's not afraid to go to Oklahoma. He just hasn't got there yet. He's not afraid of competition. But if as it stands right now, and say if Bake Bros isn't in Oklahoma, if you're Kellogg's that suddenly wants to get into the cannabis industry and carry one cannabis product, and you're looking to pick up a syrup, okay, and there's 50 syrups in Oklahoma, and there's 4 or 5 syrups with 80-90% market penetration.
Sure.
Right? And then you have, in Arizona, you have one syrup, Bake Bros, that has 80-90%. I don't know how many syrups there are in the Arizona market right now, but there's like 267 different products. Say there's 10 syrups. But in Oklahoma, there's probably like 100 syrups.
Sure.
Who has been vetted more? Who has gone through the ringer with more patients, more consumers? The Oklahoma brands.
Well, yeah, because they have
competition.
Yeah.
And because of that, if I'm going to bet on a product, it's going to be a product where there's more competition. That's why California, with their more relaxed laws, is just going to kill Arizona.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate, but I mean, the powers that be, the situation as it is, what the structure that is will evolve into the adult use structure, and then that's kind of what it will be in Arizona. But I really think the future of cannabis is going to be in markets like Mexico, where they allow for heavy competition, and they have low labor, and they have an agricultural tradition, and they have a medicinal herbal history of using cannabis down there.
Sure. I get a lot of Mexicans afraid of cannabis. A lot of people saying that it's bad. They grew up hating. It's like the devil. Is that an alternative Mexican culture?
No, I mean it's not the devil in regards to recreational. It's looked down upon.
Because they make it with a tincture. They make the alcohol tincture. They've done that forever. But the actual smoking it, that is like the absolute worst, right?
That's still not looked upon favorably.
Okay.
But medicinally, everybody understands it's just an herb that should be used medicinally. So that's going to come back in spades, and I think there's going to be a lot of other medicinal.
So you'll see a lot more edibles, a lot more things like that.
It's going to be a
from
giant herbal remedy medicinal sort of market down there.
Okay.
The recreational cannabis use is much more of an American thing, in my experience.
The smoking it. Yeah.
Just let's go get high, which is fun,
Yeah.
And that's cool. But to me, I'm never going to be an advocate for recreational cannabis consumption. I'm always going to be an advocate for responsible, therapeutic, medicinal cannabis consumption. And I have dialed back alcohol to the point that I think it's insane that we have recreational alcohol consumption.
Well, yeah.
Now, if you need to use cannabis or alcohol as a therapeutic substance so that you can relax or laugh or have a good time, and you want that, God bless you. That's your right.
Uh-huh.
That's your right. But if you're my son or daughter, or you're my friend, and I'm waving my magic wand, I'm going to help you find a path to living life where you can laugh and you can be free and you can relax without alcohol,
Sure.
without marijuana, without as many things as possible, and you can just live that substance-free life. And that's kind of like the deeper understanding of substance abuse and substance use
Well, yeah.
that cannabis has brought me to.
But I can show you how to get back home to Phoenix without your car. Also, you can start. There's alternative ways to get around. There's bicycles. There's other things you could do besides drive.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So
Choice is key.
This is my vehicle. You're trying to take the keys away from me.
No, not at all.
Not
at all. Not absolutely. That is your vehicle to relax or to.
Well, I'm talking to you right now. I'm not tearing apart an orange peel into hundreds of small pieces because I have this relaxation. I'm calm. I'm chill. I'm not fidgeting with my hands, doing things like that. I'm observant of everything. And I'm aware, but I'm not.
I'm doing this so that the chemicals in it explodes.
Yeah.
Can you smell the orange?
But I'm doing that same thing without getting orange juice all over my hands or that.
No, but smell the orange.
I have a paper cut on my finger. I know what that's going to feel like if I touch that. So I don't need to go through that pain. I have the pleasure without the pain.
Yeah, but why do you use and consume marijuana? What is it? I mean, it's your right.
Right.
It's your life. It's your body. To me, you're when I think of your cannabis consumption, I think to myself, well, it just does it because it helps you relax and it helps you balance yourself out.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I have a lot of back issues, a lot of other things, but
Pain.
my alternative therapy was mixed martial arts, and that's not a really good alternative therapy. Like you find yoga being relaxing and stuff. I found, hitting things, taking people down, wrestling with another guy, relaxing. And after a while, you get hit in the face, you get kneed in the face by accident, even rolling. It just gets tiring. I'm not a 5-day-a-week type of guy, I would do things, I do things extreme. So, like, if I'm a waiter, I'm the best waiter. People are going to call about me because I'm the best fucking waiter. And that's just the way I am. I'm the best at everything I do. So if I cannot be the best, I will find something I'm better at.
Yeah,
And
I for a second there, I thought you were trying to segue with that rolling around with another guy thing.
No, you're not going to get me, dude. We're not going. The bedroom is 10 feet away, but we're not.
I don't know where you're segueing,
No.
but
Yeah.
No, but it's cool. I just if I was Gawk and I could wave a magic wand, I'd say what can I do to help this?
Well, I would ask for 8-inch penis before I ask for my weed to go away.
That's the second thing I would give you.
See, I don't need the weed to disappear.
But it's fine.
So here's what I've been doing. I've been pressing my cannabis flower into a concentrate rosin, and that's been amazing. And that's a very flavorful, nice hit. That's something I just recently discovered. I've been smoking weed I've been high every day since 2007.
That's pretty good.
I have not woken up sober since 2007. Okay, so if you just want a perspective of that, we can do that right there. But I'm finding I'm discovering new things. But I have not been without weed since 2007.
Yeah, no, I'm you know me. I'm a huge advocate of cannabis, and I always will be. It's just that I've found the truth. To me, the truth to life does not lie with alcohol.
It does,
or with the consumption of any foreign substance.
The truth doesn't lie in any of that stuff. The lies of life lie within that stuff, and you have to be within yourself to see that. And you can enjoy those lies because they're fun, especially when they lie to you about the things like looking in the mirror and shit. Those are awesome. Yeah. But you gotta understand, those are fucking lies. That's not the truth of life. The truth of life is knowing the lies and being able to push past that and being bigger than those lies can ever be. And if this thing is bigger than me, then that's fucked up. Even though I've been high since 2007, I can put this down and walk the fuck away. but I don't fucking want to. There's no sober October for me. There's no.
Sober October, what's that?
That's a Joe Rogan thing. Him and all of his buddies, they work out all October and don't do any drugs or.
Who does that?
Just Joe Rogan. All of his guys, all of his Bert Krasner, Joe Rogan, and one of the other guys. They're 3 comedians, and they do the sober October thing where they don't smoke any weed, don't drink. I think like some smoke weed still, just because some are pretty alcoholic to begin with. But they try to be as sober as possible, and they do these point things where they work out and try to maximize the points. So there's a winner at the end of the whole thing. But
yeah, it's all about being functional and doing what works for you, you know. And I mean, quite frankly, I think a lot of guys have expensive, you know, habits, whether they're aspirin or Tylenol to sleep at night, whether it's 2 or 3 drinks, JD wine, you know, whether it's marijuana.
Yeah.
You know,
especially in Arizona, you can't grow your own. You have to buy it.
Yeah,
it gets expensive.
You know, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
You know, freedom is what it's all about. Freedom and responsibility. And I know that, you know, your cannabis use. I mean, look, you have this wonderful podcast. You're doing this great show. You're on your stuff. You know, you're on your game. You're producing. What the hell does it matter if somebody's using cannabis?
Right.
You know? It makes you balanced enough so that you can chill and just get it done.
It lies to me enough so I can do these things. Because if it wasn't lying to me, none of the shit would get done. If this doesn't say you can do these things, I wouldn't do any of this shit, man.
What would you be like if you weren't consuming cannabis?
I'd be a waiter. I just said that. I'd be the best damn waiter you saw at fucking Chili's, man. You come in every week looking for Chad because he brings your fucking tea on time and make sure that you have your glass is full. You know, that's what I fucking do. Yeah,
that's fine.
I just happen to be the best at this right now. We're just smoking weed. I'm very good at it.
Yeah, I just, you know, the teach on, and I love this industry, and I love the cannabis plant, and I'll defend it, you know, till the end of time because it's helped me see things in a whole new perspective. And interestingly enough, my perspective did not need to, you know, and I've tried cannabis a number of times.
Sure.
I actually, I'll tell you 2 good stories. But my perspective didn't need to come from cannabis use. It came from thousands of other people who were consuming cannabis who taught me about it, its use, and how it could be used responsibly for
if you use it once or twice, you're getting high. But if you use it every day, you're medicinal.
Yeah. So I was at Earl Cup. When was the last Earl Cup? Was it January?
Yeah, because it's 7/10 is coming up now. So
yeah, so it's January. Is Morrison going to have his Earl Cup?
Yeah.
They're going to do it.
Yeah, they're doing 7/10.
At the Indian place?
Yeah, they're camping out. Yeah, they're doing the whole.
Oh well, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, so
Earl Camp. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at Earl Cup and I was in one of the VIP lounges for Curaleaf. And there were some brownies there. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I thought it was the VIP lounge, and so there'd just be regular food. I didn't know. So I grabbed the brownie and I ate it. I swear it wasn't. Nobody was regulating.
Do you have your medical marijuana card?
No, I don't.
See, that's how do they get away with these things, man? That's.
Huh? Well, because we're news, we're media.
I'm just saying that's because that's on-patient consumables, and you just said Curaleaf.
I didn't know what they were doing there.
Exactly.
It was my fault because I shouldn't have been there.
But how are these events existing in the Arizona law?
Well, everybody's card is checked. You know, media comes in, employees come in, and I'm not consuming.
You just did.
Well, it was an accident.
But anybody can go media and go do a dab.
Well, I guess you could, but you know, some of us aren't there to break rules. I was there to report Arizona Cannabis News, and I was just on my way out. Well, I was about to leave, and I was like, "Oh, there's some chips, there's some stuff over there, there's brownies." So they're off to the side, and I thought those aren't medicated, you know, because the medicated stuff is over there. People are checking their cards and all that stuff. So I walked up and just grabbed one and just ate it. I was like, whatever. So then, as I'm walking out of the Indian grounds, whatever the fairgrounds that he does them at. And I get to my car and I get on the 202 and I start to cruise down the 202 and I start getting that little sweaty hot feeling. And I'm like, what's going on? And then I noticed the car left me. I'm like, well, that car is going really fast. And I look to the car to the right of me. I'm like, well, that car is going really slow. And I'm like, oh, wait, was that? is this? Well, my first thought was because when you go to an Earl Cup, you can't help but get like a little contact high.
Yeah.
You know, that little slight contact high, which is okay, but it happens, and it's cool. You know, you're not consuming, but you're walking through the
See, you
smoke.
can't help it.
Yeah, so that's not a big deal. And actually, I recommend that contact high to a lot of people who never have gotten it because it's totally casual. It's like having like one shot of vodka.
Yeah.
You know, it feels good.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. Be responsible. So
just walk through the clouds.
So I'm cruising, and I'm like, oh no, that it wasn't the content, and it gets more and more intense. I'm like, oh fuck, that brownie was medicated, wasn't it? Damn it! I'm like, because I had to get to. It was my mom's birthday. It was January.
Oh shit! So you have to go see your mom. You have to go see your mom.
January 8th. Yeah, Saturday. It was the Saturday around January 8th. So I was on my way to see my mom at 7 p.m. in Tucson. So now it's like 2 p.m. because Earl Cup's in the morning, and I'm living over there in Tempe. And I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna get high here. I'm like, how high am I gonna get? I'm like, it's edible. You know, so I park my car and I come inside and I see Marcella's there, and I'm like, because it's you know she's there working. I'm like, Marcella, I think I had an edible and I'm getting really high. So I don't know how high I'm gonna get. Because prior to that, the last time that I tried marijuana was in Mexico at President Fox's house.
Oh wow, you got high with the president?
I didn't get hired the president. That's a whole other story. But again, I wasn't violating the laws of the United States of America.
You're in another country.
And then prior to that, it was in Hawaii.
Okay.
With on the beach in Hawaii.
But that wasn't legal then.
That was another story. But look, when there's rainbows and freaking, I was in.
You're gonna smoke weed.
Yeah, it's okay. If you were,
you're gonna take a hit.
Yeah, and the girls we were with and stuff on the beach.
It all comes back to the girls.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, I mean, since Adam and Eve, it's come back to the girls. Okay, so let's not get started with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get upstairs and I'm like, okay, I get in my chair. I'm like, here it comes, you know, and I had all those feelings, like those thoughts, the anxiety and stuff, and so I got on the phone with a couple people. I'm like, what do I do? And then, you know, they gave me some use advice, drink lots of water.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, because I don't want to be high, and I need to get, I don't want to be high in general.
Was this one Undo as one of your sponsors?
No, but I should have called Undo.
Yeah.
I didn't think about calling Undo. They need some more publicity so that we get that word out there. But then I said, I can't talk to anyone. I have to turn off my phone because my mind.
He's just gonna go for it.
My mind is starting to.
You're gonna enjoy it. All right.
My mind is starting to.
Shut off the world and lay back.
You think I'm creative, sober? I mean, just like
see, that's what I'm saying. Think about how much you would do high. Think about what your podcast would be like. What your studio would look like, man.
Oh, just forget about it.
You'd be talking all sorts of stuff. You'd be having Toking every day.
No, I mean, we would take a concept like Pink Floyd. The Wall.
That's the first couple times. After that, you get kind of used to it.
But yeah, so I would take that.
It's on the playlist.
I would take it to its logical extreme.
Okay.
Okay. I would teach Roger Waters what it meant to be creative.
You don't think Roger Waters smokes weed?
I don't know if he smokes weed, but there, I can see a lot of things missing when, you know, that when I do smoke weed. But I don't need that journey. I like this journey. I like who I am. I like feeling rigid. I love the feeling right now. You know. It's great to be me. I don't need to alter my perspective, but God bless you if you want to alter your perspective in any way you want to, anytime you want to, and I'll help defend you and protect your rights, right and left, to keep others off your back. That's who I am. So then I said, okay, I'm just gonna get into bed and ride this out.
Yeah.
So I crawled into my bed, and it was like 3:00 now, and I'm freaking high. Okay, I've got all these minds. I mean, it was the brownies, the Curaleaf, highly recommend.
It's probably 10 milligrams.
No, just great stuff. Okay, during the whole journey, so I called my mom and I said actually it was my dad. I said, look, because I hadn't seen my mom like in 2 weeks since her birthday. I'm like, look, I'm gonna level with you. I ate a brownie and I'm high. Okay. And I can't drive. I'm just not driving anywhere today. So I can't make it for Mama's birthday. And my dad's like, "Oh, don't worry, that happens."
That happens.
You know, he's like, "I can't believe you didn't know it was a brown." I'm like, "Yeah, I was in the wrong place, and I shouldn't have grabbed it, and it was my fault." You know, and so then I wrote it out, and I finally showed up around 6 or 7 or 8 p.m. You know, that night.
Yeah.
But that was my last experience. And prior to that, President Fox's hacienda, and you know, when you have like 8 to 12 people sitting around hacienda, gorgeous hacienda, San Cristobal. Again, girls, and the right girls offer you marijuana, and I can't say
So peer pressure got you, huh?
I can't say who was all sitting with us, but it was enough people that I was like, okay, this group, I'm gonna get high with this group.
Yeah.
And we're in Mexico, and so I tried it. I took the joint and smoked it, and you know, sure enough, there was about, you know, this table this large. Then there was the bar over there, which was, you know, a gazebo type setup stuff, and it was pretty, it was fun, you know, it was fun. But I was having fun before that.
Yeah.
You know, was it more fun? Maybe it was more fun. But I certainly didn't like the feeling of not being able to remove it. It reminded me of drinking, and I've managed to get away from drinking.
Yeah.
And you know, I like being able to be crisp and be aware.
Well, that's the not being medicated enough. You know, I mean that's the doing it here and there sporadically.
High enough.
Well, yeah, if you did it more
All the time.
not all the time, but at least let's say 3 nights a week. If you were to partake 3 nights a week, where you knew what the center was on a regular basis, where you could find that focus 3 nights a week, you'll have a whole different perspective on life.
Here's the thing.
You already have a different perspective on life.
Your viewers, the people out there in the cannabis community, the employees, the patients, the consumers, I'm the guy that you want out there advocating for your rights. You want me sober. You need me on that wall. You want me on that wall.
I want you to be on my level.
No.
You have, because I have all the knowledge of the universe because of the cannabis. And when the yoga and the cannabis meet like that, you'll be unstoppable. But right now you only got half of that. You got about 50% balance.
Here's the thing. So when I go talk to Republicans or conservatives or
you can still talk to
fuddy-duddies or individuals who have this certain perception about the cannabis world,
they don't have to know you smoke 3 nights a week.
I come in.
That's for you.
I come in with this perspective. And I can validly say, look, I don't consume cannabis.
But you did. You already got high. You cannot say that. You've done it.
But I don't use it.
But you've done it. It's beyond that. It's been in your system. You've done it. You've been high.
I know what it's about.
You've been so high you had to lay down. You couldn't handle your shit.
Both times.
Okay, so now...
And in Hawaii, technically, I was laying down too.
So they don't want to hear that shit.
3 times.
On
the beach.
What they want to know is that you can handle your shit. And you got to be able to handle your shit. Because when that Republican, when fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger pulls out that joint in the governor's office and says, hey, we're going to smoke, you can't go lay down. You have to be able to handle your shit. So 3 times a week. Look at you. See?
I'm okay.
You need a sativa.
You want me sober.
No. I want you smoking.
You do. Because it makes me a strong advocate for the freedom of others. It really does. And it allows me to relate directly. Say, hey, you know what, Mr.
You're a cop that doesn't smoke weed.
A cop that doesn't smoke weed.
That's what this whole podcast has been about. You 12 years on the force. And you don't smoke weed.
Prosecutor.
Well, you said you work with cops.
Work with cops.
See, I can't trust you, my friend. You gotta smoke. The story.
I'm the guy who can convince cops and prosecutors and those people who don't use cannabis about the freedoms, because we relate.
Cops don't like freedoms.
Because
they're against freedoms. They have handcuffs in their back pocket.
Yeah, I understand that, but otherwise they think that you're just trying to do something to advantage yourself. They're trying to do, you have self-interested motivations involved in the conversation. When I go and talk to a lawmaker who doesn't like cannabis, he doesn't think that I'm trying to, twist and turn him around so I can go abuse a substance or use a substance.
It's already illegal.
No, but it depends on what it is. Technically, we had a lot of people that are trying to undermine the medical program in 2013, 14, and 15 at the state capitol.
Sure.
It wasn't until we got the Democrats thoroughly organized behind Mark Cardenas, Representative Cardenas, that we had total protection of the medical marijuana program. And MITA helped do that in 2016, 2017. In the spring of 2017, we worked closely with Representative Cardenas to kill all negative bills on medical marijuana. But we also were working with Republicans who otherwise wouldn't have taken me seriously. Like they kind of honestly didn't take Michael seriously because they saw him as a self-interested stoner who was just coming to try to get his free the weed so he'd go get more high. Me, they see me as something else. They may see me as someone that is from the world that can reason with them. And that's the difference. And that's why when I go in there, I can be much more effective by saying, look, I don't want to use cannabis. I'm not going to use cannabis unless I absolutely need to use cannabis. But you better damn well get your freaking business, get your freaking hands and your minds and your laws out of my business and my right to be able to choose to use cannabis when I want to use cannabis. And they're like, well, so you don't use cannabis? No, but it's a freaking alternative health remedy that helps alleviate stress and helps people relax and helps with pain and helps with this and this and this and this. And it's just natural and God created. And I should be entitled to it. And I should have the right to decide when and if I want to use it, just like you do alcohol. So you're not here just to advocate for your own personal use of marijuana? No, I'm not. I'm here to advocate for freedom and for choice and for all those other wonderful things that you believe in as Americans.
But why can't I grow opiate poppies that way? It's a plant. I just pop it. I hit it. I smoke a little opium. I relax. It's a little medicinal.
I'm not opposed to that. I'm actually for the decriminalization of all drugs at this point, and decriminalization and legalization. I just prohibition does not work as the model, and even heroin, methadone has its medicinal therapeutic uses.
Sure.
The key is teaching responsible behavior, encouraging responsible behavior, and maybe some opioids are such monsters that we need to keep them illegal. But I'm leaning towards decriminalization. I'm not sure.
Huh.
But I found that everything I knew about cannabis policy was upside down.
Yeah. So everything else could be bullshit too, huh?
Well, it's not necessarily bullshit, but you sure need to keep eyes wide open.
What about these legal mushrooms in Colorado and stuff?
I'm not opposed to that as well, but
Do you see a mushroom market like Baked Bros having like a mushroom syrup or a mushroom brownie coming out? Do you see it going that way?
It's possible.
Do you think the hippies are doing it? That they're getting the weed and they're getting the mushrooms next, and then we're gonna start seeing.
I don't think it's the hippies. I think it's just individuals who believe in freedom of choice and who believe in the therapeutic value of mushrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the technical word?
Psilocybin.
Yeah, psilocybin. Yeah. And I think it's gonna come, and it's gonna be a big deal.
I knew you didn't mean fungi. I knew you didn't mean fungi.
I'd be the first person invited to the party. The fun guy.
The fun guy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man.
Are we nearing our how long have we been here?
We've been here an hour and a half doing this thing. Hour 37 minutes.
I don't know how long are your things usually?
I don't know. Are you staying here tonight? You crashing? What do you?
No, it's time for I'm waking up at 6:30 a.m.
Wow.
To go do yoga.
So yoga at the end of the night, yoga at the beginning of the morning.
That's if I could live my life.
That's your weed.
You could say it's my weed. I'll take that, and I'll take it as a compliment.
Well, this is my yoga. I'll say that. So leave me alone.
Yoga, I'll leave you. Hey, you know what? I'll be the first to defend your right to your
downward
yoga.
facing dog right here.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. But if you ever want to try to come do hot yoga,
see, listen to you. I said smoke weed 3 times a week. You're like, no, fuck that. Now you're like pushing your shit on me.
Oh yeah.
I respect your boundaries. You respect my boundaries. We'll both do our own yoga.
Fair enough. Now I gotta get going because first of all I got 45 minutes, so I'll be home at 10:30, and then I gotta do a couple other things. And then get some sleep and wake up for 6:30 a.m. yoga.
Wow. What's the business day for you? What are you doing on a daily? Are you guys having expos coming up at all?
No, right now we're working on the virtual stuff for MITA. And we've got a couple of national virtual things. I've got some companies that I'm working with. I do consulting as well. If anybody wants to learn about different opportunities in the cannabis industry, how it works, how it's structured, investment possibilities. If somebody looks at employment opportunities as well. Usually I'll just help those people for free, though.
That's why I'm out of business, because of you.
Yeah. Trust me, I'm not.
It's $2.99 to come to me. It's free to him.
That's not true. I didn't. I helped a bunch of people, but not that many. Stop.
So where's your consulting fee? What do you 10% of the first year? What do you?
I try to value my. No, I don't get into percentage of people's businesses. I value myself at about $100 an hour. I think that that lawyers are offensive at $300, $700 an hour. I think that's absurd. And so I'm pretty fair about my prices.
Nice.
Given my level of expertise and the amount of knowledge I have, but and everybody's looking for a different thing. You got to kind of help them, sort through what they're looking for.
Yeah.
What might be the best opportunity for them. And as my buddy Jeff Rydell.
Yeah.
He's another guy who came here in
2016.
Yeah, in August 2016, he met me and hung out with me for like 2 months, and now he's freaking kicking ass at Sun Valley.
Yeah.
Like dozens and dozens of individuals who I have helped, who you've helped along the way, and that's been another great reward. So all in all, it's been a great 8 years. 8 years this August. 8 years this August.
Yeah.
In this industry, around the country, around the world, and I love educating. And there's the occasional turd, which I like to bring up, but
sure,
it doesn't matter.
When did you start doing out 8 years ago? What was your first gig in the cannabis industry?
On August 8, 2012, my brother got a license with my dad for Sedona, which became one of the first Blooms.
Oh.
Before it was even called Bloom. It's called Zonacare. And I went to work for them. Well, really for my brother.
Uh-huh.
And then I immediately in August 2012 developed something called MMJ Exchange, which was a wholesale platform for different products and flour, which was about 6 years too soon.
Yeah. Being wholesale when there's only 2 or 3 growers is tough. Yeah.
Yeah, but I thought we would build it in time, but it just wasn't. The market wasn't. It wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
So that project didn't take off. But there's been a lot of projects. I'm so grateful. I was making $60,000 to $80,000 a year, from actually about $48,000 to $80,000 a year, from 1998 through 2012.
Working for the
government, economic development, Tucson. I did a lot with Major League Soccer, which I'm very proud of, but nobody ever talks about that.
You didn't talk about it. You had an hour and a half. What did you do for Major League Soccer?
Well, that's another story. We'll come back and talk about that.
You're gonna come back, huh? You drive back out here?
No, you're gonna come to me.
I gotta bring this whole studio to you.
We're gonna put one of these in my office.
See, listen to you. You got to smoke more weed to be this motivated.
Yeah. That's another problem with weed. It makes me want to sleep. So all 3 times I laid down. So, and I slept well, by the way. I slept like a baby.
It's medicinal.
And as soon as I can get my medical card for sleeping, it's like a no-brainer. I don't get why marijuana isn't like prescribed as a sleep aid. That's just like a no-brainer.
Everybody's got pain. Yeah.
Well, I lost my thought. What were we talking about?
You were the history of Demitri. We were talking. What got you to the cannabis industry? Your brother, you were making 48 to 60,000 for the first 2.
So look at you. You see, look, you're better memory than I do. It must be the vape pen. Actually, what it is I'm living here.
I'm in this fucking moment.
I'm living here. I'm going forward.
Where do you think I got that information from?
Because you're living in the past, my friend.
You asked me about the past. I had to go there. And
by not letting it go, by keeping it, you had to deal with it. Me, I just move forward.
What are we talking about?
So, let go. What was that from Luke? From let go your feelings. Trust your instinct. Turn off your computer, Luke.
Fear is the path to the dark side.
Yeah. So
turn off your computer. Oh yeah.
Remember, turn off.
Yeah.
Turn off your computer, Luke. Trust your feelings.
I was like, they didn't have computers in the 70s.
What's wrong? Luke has turned off his computer. Remember?
All right, Porkins.
Anyways, so somehow I've managed to make enough money in this cannabis industry to keep me in a comfortable enough lifestyle that satisfies me for the last 8 years. So it's been fantastic.
That's great.
And God bless this industry, everyone in this industry, every patient, every consumer. I wish the best. and I will be out there protecting and defending their rights until the end of time. And I like to think that I had a little part in helping end prohibition, which is just doesn't matter what your messaging is on cannabis. Prohibition just is stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, Nancy Reagan should say, if she was still alive, is she still alive?
I think she is. Ronald's dead.
I don't know. She's
still alive.
She should say, it's still the devil's weed, but prohibition doesn't work. So the government's going to legalize cannabis, but we're going to teach you that it's the devil's weed.
And AIDS never existed.
Okay, fair enough, Nancy. Thank you very much. We'll get back to you.
Because that was on her watch, that whole AIDS pandemic. But she's telling everybody to just say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my point is, it's all about the messaging.
Yeah, she could have done so much more with her thing. There's a lot more going on at that time.
And
They to brainwash kids into thinking that cannabis was going to make you rape your neighbor, and
And I want cannabis to be available for my kids. Just if that's the path that they choose to take.
How
I
is
personally will do
a yoga teacher, the cult leader of the feminist yoga, going to have kids? Are you gonna? You're gonna have too many jealous women to have children, man. You're all be and all the guys are going to be castrated in your yoga studio, I'm guessing.
What you see before you is a reformed man.
So now it's family time.
It's family time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. You have anybody on the family line?
I'm good.
On the hook?
I have actually a few, but
see, that's what I'm talking about, Demitri.
No, just gotta make my choice. Just gotta make my choice.
They're not choosing you; you're choosing them.
Well, I mean, come on,
Yeah.
Ever since I gave up on chasing you,
I'm not the catch. I'm the fisher.
Yeah. Well, you don't have a womb, so that's not gonna help me.
No, I've tried, but I don't know which bathroom to go to if I don't want to go through it all.
It's your right to have a womb. It's your right to have babies. Monty Python. Remember Loretta? Remember Life of Brian?
I do remember Life of Brian.
Remember? I want to be a woman. I want to be respected as a woman.
Yes.
I want to have babies. And then she's like, what? Then she's like, oh, well, you can't be a woman. You don't have a womb. It doesn't matter. It's my right to be a woman and to have babies. I just want you to recognize the right. Recognize the right that you're stupid. You remember that?
Yeah, 1984.
Yeah.
This is predicting what was to come. I mean, all that Monty Python. He pushed the edge of what was new at the time, and put it on TV.
Yeah, it's gonna stop. We'll do this again sometime.
Yeah, I like Monty Python. It's funny you do that.
Definitely. We'll get back together, and you can come to my place. Bring some of your... Wait, I'm taxing you on my way out of here.
You're just going to take it with you. I got 2 extra mics. I got 2 extra headsets. I got a chair there. I got 2 TVs here.
I'm like Hillary Clinton here, taxing the wealthy, give to the poor.
Hillary's probably one of the most wealthiest people now. How many book deals do they have? They got a few books.
I don't know. These people that go into public service so they can get rich.
It's $100,000 an hour to book the Clintons.
It blows my mind.
On a speaking.
It just blows my mind.
Yeah. Are you gonna have them for MITA next year, 2021?
What did you say?
You book the Clintons for 2021 at MITA?
Oh, we had President Fox. Were you at that one?
Yes, and I was at Montel. That was a big one. That was one of your first big ones that you had.
Yeah. What do you think of MITA? You've enjoyed it?
Yeah, I used to get a free booth, but when you needed people, but after that,
my backdrop.
It all became. You taking that with you too? I don't like that the road comes up so high on it. That the brick should start lower.
You got all kinds of cool stuff here. Next time we come,
we can play Xbox. We can play Xbox Live with everybody watching us. I can destroy you.
Fatality.
Like that.
Next time I come, we're gonna play with all your toys.
Yeah, I got a volcano here we can play with. You got the big pipe there we can play with there.
Is that a pipe?
Yeah, Dave Wozniacki was the last person to hit that. Michael Weiser before him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, next time I come back, we'll talk something else and we'll play with some of your toys.
You got the alien.
Definitely.
I'm glad, man. I'm glad you came out here. It was cool. You finally came out. I had to twist your arm. had to tempt you with weed hits off camera, and you fucking did them, and you came out, and we did the podcast. It's awesome, brother. Thanks for smoking weed with me, and thanks for doing the podcast.
Yeah, no, we'll come back to it.
Yeah, brother.
Definitely. Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Toking today, Demitri Downing, not Demitri Martin. That's a comedian. Demitri Downing is your fucking political activist that is making sure you have the right to smoke weed. This has been Toking today. Thank you, everybody. He is centered Yogi Demitri.